Sometimes we haven't got a clue, but be real and true. Bringing fun and dark humor to light. We got a great show for you. Welcome to the show. Will you be a friend or foe? Together here we never fade, having fun with lives we made. Under our production we glow, talking to the end of the show. The Baron and Sindee Nyte are live. We are glad you're here tonight. Welcome to the show. Will you be a friend or foe? Together here we never fade, having fun with lives we made. Under our protection we glow, talking to the end of the show.
And we are freaking live again. Already, and I say already because it seems like we just got done being live for hours and hours and hours. This past Saturday, we were down at Steampunk and the Bricks down in Jackson. And it was a show from 12 p.m. till 10 p.m. And we were invited to bring our show there live. And so we did 5 or 6 segments of this show.
Hour segments, yep.
Yeah, hour-long segments all throughout the day. She lost her voice. That's when she started getting pretty sick with the cold or something, but her voice was shot in the first segment. So everybody had to listen to me, which I always said, that's probably not a bad thing. Not a bad thing to just have to listen to me, because I'm pretty insightful. I'm pretty entertaining. And what did I tell Jean today I was?
Extremely cute.
Cute and cuddly. Cute and cuddly, because I bought the table, our alien head table, from Jean, the owner of the building today, and I was trying to, chew her down on the price and everything. I said, but I'm cute and cuddly. So she brought it down for me. All right, welcome to the show, everybody. I am the Baron, and this is...
Sindee Nyte.
Sindee Nyte. We are the Baron and Sindee Nyte Show, and we've got a super cool show for you guys tonight. We have Niccole Lynn here with us, and she's a very interesting person that we'll delve into more of that real interesting tidbits of your life. But tell our viewers a little bit about who Niccole Lynn is.
All right, I'm going to say hi, Rob. Okay.
Hello, everybody. My name's Niccole. I come from the Metro Detroit area by way of Chicago through the UP. And I guess I like all things weird and wonderful. Anything bizarre, that's what I'm interested in. Looking beyond the curtain, see what's behind that.
What's behind the curtain? That's very
right.
important. What's behind the curtain? A lot of people are afraid to look behind that curtain.
Yeah,
I just rip that sumbitch open and see what's back there.
that's right.
Got to see what's back there. So you're from the Detroit area. What do you do on a day-to-day basis? What performance, art? What do you do? What do you do?
Well, I have a boring day job,
Okay.
but gotta.
We used to.
Yeah, gotta make the money. But
Yep.
I do a lot of performance art,
Okay.
and with a few friends of mine, I'm in a coven, the Coven of Lilith. We've performed together, and then I have a partner that I perform with, Doombana, out of the Detroit area, and her Instagram is Cult Doom, if you want to check it out. I'm also an artist. I do a lot of collage work and then some graphic design.
Oh, nice. Now, when you say you're in a coven, for our folks that might okay, what is a coven? What is a coven?
It's a group of wonderful witches.
Okay. So you're out there in the woods, dancing around the trees, the fire. Should I go there? I did that before.
Yeah, you did.
Are you dancing around the fire naked?
Oh, that's exactly what we do all
Yes!
the time, every Saturday night.
Yes.
No, that's not what we do.
You got him excited for a minute.
For a minute.
Hi, Tracy Forrester.
I have to ask all of our coven friends, because we've got quite a few of them. And when they talk about, their covens and all that, that's a question I always ask.
You're sharing our secret stuff.
Yes, I know. I need to stop doing that.
Right. We've been invited to a few.
Yeah, but they said they weren't going to get naked, so I didn't go.
For my personal coven, it's about female empowerment, and
Nice.
we like to do a lot of political actions as well. So,
Okay.
yes. And
All
we'd
right.
like to get involved with the community and help out as much as we can.
Okay, that's wonderful. That's a
Yeah.
wonderful thing to do, to bring things that you love doing to a good, on a stage, to let other people know and whatnot. So we talked about earlier when we first came on, we were down at Steampunk on the Bricks, and there was a, were they a coven of witches that was doing that dance? I can't remember if they were. But they had we were kind of up on this porch balcony thing, looking down in between our show, and they were doing it looked like,
No,
A witch
those
type
were
dance.
like gypsy belly dancers.
were they, okay, I guess they're more gypsy belly dancers.
No, the I don't remember what they're called, but they do travel. The witch
The Midnight
dance.
Riders, they're out of the Detroit area. Is that what you're talking about at Halfway to
Halfway.
Halloween? Yeah, they dragged two of them were on our show when we were at Halfway to Halloween, and they dragged me on to one of their witch dances. So I was out there. I was doing it. But the one witch that was on this side of me that dragged me on there, she was like right in my ear telling me everything, bring the broom down, bring the broom up, go this way, shake it up, do this. She was just literally right in my ear telling me every little step. It was pretty funny.
Hi, Ryan.
But I think I did pretty good. Did I get a standing ovation?
No.
Damn, I was hoping I got a standing ovation. All right, so who's all in the house? Who do we got in here?
Well, I keep saying hi, but aren't listening.
I've heard a few.
Well, that's what you have right now that have said hi to me.
Okay, so you got Ryan, what's up? You got
Tracy
Tracy.
and Rob.
Well, look at Rob getting in here early. St. John's, Michigan Jason, dear friend of ours, great performer, always comes in about 3 minutes before the show ends. Hey, it's St. John's, Michigan Jason in the house, and we're done for the night. See you guys later.
Hi, Jen.
It's like, come on. So, glad you were able to make it early, Rob. Good grief. Let's get in, because I'll want to talk a lot about this. So we're gonna dive right in. For you guys that don't know, that didn't read maybe some of the intros we did. Well, first of all, no. I digress.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Michelle. Anita Martini. How did you come up with that?
When I was 21, I thought it was hilarious. I'm actually not a big drinker, so it's funny at this point. But
Right.
I worked with Trauma Films, Toxic Avenger,
Oh, no shit.
Lloyd
That used to be-
Kaufman.
that used
I
to
just
be
ran
my
into
favorite.
Lloyd recently
Oh,
at
wow.
a Detroit showing of Class of Newcomb High after many years.
Yeah.
But so at that time, I was coming up with my Traumette name, and initially, it was Anita, something a little bit more risque.
Right.
And Lloyd said that was a little bit too obscene, which I took as a huge compliment coming
From one of
Lloyd
his
Kaufman.
films? Are you
Right.
kidding me?
So
That
I
had to be
classed it
horrible.
up and made it Anita Martini.
I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, months ago when we ran into you, met you up at, I was doing the speaking engagement thing and the whole Soaring Eagle Mid-Michigan Paracon. It's where we met. You were just like one or two tables down from us, and at the MUFON table. And I can't remember if you introduced yourself as Niccole or Anita Martini, but ever since then, I was just like,
He just can't stop
yeah,
saying it.
it's just funnier than hell. It is
Like
so
if
clever.
you watch any of our past videos and we say that you're coming up, he'll say it like
Anita
several
Martini.
times.
But well, that's cool. That's cool. The connection with trauma.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, growing up, that was. I always watched those. It drove her nuts. So just like always watching. Oh, it's a trauma film. Oh no. But yeah, I loved them. I still love them. They're awesome films. But Okay, so we got the Anita Martini thing out of the way, which I had to do. Let's go back a little bit. Alien abduction. Now, what is the proper term for somebody like yourself that, no better word that I could think of right now, alien abduction. You were abducted by aliens. Tell us, one, the proper, if I'm not using the proper terminology for that, and how it started, when it happened to you.
Okay. Well, for me personally, I identify with abductee.
Okay, abductee.
Because it's not consensual. I didn't choose for this to happen.
Okay.
I know a lot of people think that there's such a thing as a soul contract and that they chose this before they were born. That is one perspective. I don't believe that.
Okay.
I don't think I chose this. It's something that's been happening to me since I can remember, and there are a lot of people that use the term experiencer.
Yes, I have heard that.
Which a lot of people feel is less, I don't know, confronting, or maybe a little bit more encompassing.
Okay.
But I feel like at this point, experiencer has taken on so many different aspects of this that for me, I'm an abductee. I mean,
Okay.
that's specifically what I am. So
That's what you are. That's
yeah.
what you.
That's what I identify
Okay.
with,
Okay.
for sure.
Okay.
I'll get into this a little bit more later, but, most of my experiences, I can't say they've been super positive.
Okay.
And that's another reason why I identify with abductee. I can't say it's all negative, for
Okay.
sure, but, so it started, actually, my earliest memory, and I've come to find, since I've gotten involved in the community, that I'm not the only person that this is their first memory, was of a gray alien standing at the foot of my crib
Oh.
and looking
your
down
crib.
at me. And that is my first memory. It burned into my head. That is what I remember. And I was fully conscious.
Right.
I couldn't have been more than 3, still being in the crib.
Yeah.
And it just, that face looking down at me. I don't remember being particularly frightened.
Right.
Just intrigued by it.
Well, being that young, you probably didn't understand what was going on. Is this
Exactly.
normal? This is kind of a normal thing. It's
Exactly.
not mommy or daddy, but
Yeah.
is this normal? Yeah, I could see that.
Yep. I mean, the concept of normal didn't even come into it at that
Right.
point. It was just something that I experienced.
Yeah.
And it continued on from there all through my life up until now.
Wow. That's crazy. You guys feel free at any time, as always, throw in your questions to Niccole, and Miss Sindee will read them off. And she's still getting over her cold that she caught over the weekend. So we'll try to let her talk a little bit when she wants to, but I don't know how much she still will. How much are you going to talk
I
today?
want to be heard. You'll hear me.
Okay. No, that's empowering right there. Female empowerment at its best right there. If I want to be heard, you will hear me. Holy crap. Okay, so started early on.
Well, Jen says, so she's an abductee like Travis Walton?
Yeah, I would say that.
Who's
that's
Travis
accurate.
Walton.
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 Well, Travis, and I do have to preface that I am not super aware of all of the names in the community
Right.
because of what I've been through. It scared me to read a lot of the material, so I'm not like an investigator. This is stuff that's happened to me personally.
Right.
And so not only that, but from a young age, I was concerned, about my credibility. And if I read stuff, I was concerned that even myself would question if it came from something that I had read or
Right.
learned about, or, I wanted to make sure that my memories were specifically mine.
Right.
I do know Travis Walton, though, because I think most of us that are into this phenomenon are familiar, especially if you like horror movies, too, with
Okay.
Fire in the Sky.
Oh, okay.
And Travis Walton was the abductee from that movie.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I don't know a ton about Travis's story. I just got the book recently, so I'm going to read it. But
Okay.
Travis was, I believe, in Texas
Okay.
and was with a logging crew, and he got abducted, and then he went missing for a few days.
Few days, yeah.
And the police were involved, and there was a lie detector test done.
Yes.
And yes.
Yeah, I do remember that. And as a matter of fact, Grim Life Collective, another podcast, they're pretty cool guys. Well, guy and girl. They just did a piece on that. They went out to the area where he's abducted. They actually interviewed him. They went to his house, knocked on his door.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty cool. I just watched, was it last night or the night before? I don't know if you've seen it. Dark Skies. Seen that one?
Yes.
Okay, that
Yeah.
one's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Now, that's a Hollywood take on an abduction. How would you compare that experience? If you guys haven't seen the movie, family, what was that? Wife, husband, 2 kids, 2 boys, young, and they're experiencing, at the beginning, it was more like a paranormal, like almost a haunting type of thing, what's going on in their house. Things being moved around, things being, setting off alarms. So you think it's more of a paranormal encounter, but as it goes on, it's an alien thing.
Hi, Ryan Thurston.
Hey, Ryan, happy birthday.
Don't happy birthday.
And then it turns out it's an abduction. How much of that, and even not even that movie, but in movies in general, serious movies like that, how close to that in reality is that? Like with what happened to you? Or was it a totally different experience than you've seen in any of the movies?
I mean, to be honest, there's bits and pieces in various movies that I can relate to, but I can't say any of the Hollywood stuff has gotten it right.
Okay.
And my personal, well, I've had experiences of what people might think was, poltergeist type activity
Yeah.
involved in my experiences. It was definitely, I believe, to be the beings. I feel like they can be very playful at times.
Okay.
Sometimes it feels like they're just kind of messing with you,
Yeah.
because they can.
Right.
But, for me personally, having this happen since I was such a young age, it started off very different than what it became later. When I was young, again, I didn't have like the concepts of what was happening to me.
Right.
So, I don't know if you're familiar with the term screen memory. Mm-mm. But it's when they come disguised as something familiar, or it's not gray aliens that you're looking at, it's something else.
Something else, okay.
Because they're disguising themselves.
Is it something you're going to be comfortable with, that they would come to you?
Well, that's
maybe?
what I was going to say. So when
Okay.
I was a child, my earliest memories of abduction would start with, I would be in my bed, and we lived in an apartment in Berwyn, Illinois, which is in the suburbs of the Chicagoland area.
Okay.
And we had a bunk bed with my brother. I'd be on the bottom bunk, and there was the window was next to where the bed was, and what looked like almost like a mannequin kind of puppet-esque cartoony 3-ring circus master in like the suit and everything would come in through the window.
Oh my God.
Like it was standing on the ground from outside inside, and then it would come up to the bed, and it was accompanied by something that looked kind of like a Muppet. Like the big ones, like Sweetums, I think was the name of the bigger the brown Muppet. So it was kind of similar to that, which, at 5, which is when I started remembering this, that was something I would be maybe a little bit more,
Yeah,
I wasn't scared about to see these things. I was always a big fan of the circus. My grandfather was a circus performer, and so I've got carny blood. So I was always interested from a very young age because I heard stories about it. But anyways, this thing would lead me out of bed and then take me to the other end of the room. And the next thing I knew, there wasn't like a transition. My memory is very hazy. I was a very young child. But the next thing I know, I would be on board what I would interpret now to be a spaceship. And that's where I would see the gray aliens. They wouldn't be disguised anymore at that point.
Wow.
Yeah. I think my abductions, while many of abductions have a lot of things in similar, I wouldn't say that any one is exactly like another one.
Okay.
And because this has been a part of my life for so long, they've been in my life for so long, it's not like I was just driving down the road one day and I got taken and I wasn't expecting it.
Right.
So because I haven't ever known anything different.
Right.
I am what you would call a lifelong conscious abductee. So I have not known any different. It wasn't until I got older that I realized that this had a name, and then not everybody
experiences it.
Yes.
Now, do you have any type that, like, marking, like, did they mark you or anything like that?
I do.
Really?
I have an implant.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Now, what do you think, or maybe what do you think, what is the purpose of that? What are they trying to get out from you, get out from us? What would be the purpose of that?
Well, I mean, I think implants, but the entire phenomenon, the abduction phenomenon with gray aliens, which is what I've dealt with specifically, is, I feel like this is a long-term study.
Okay.
And so I think that the implants, I mean, not only tracking us, although I don't necessarily know if they need those to track us,
Right.
but possibly some way to like constantly monitor your bodily functions or your health. Or,
Right.
I'm not really sure, but
Wow.
I view it as a study because for many of us, especially lifelong abductees, there's multiple people in our families that have it. It go back for multiple generations. So this is something that runs through your family. And that's in my case, that's what it is.
Now, you talked about earlier about you didn't invite this, you didn't necessarily want this, and then you mentioned how some people do, or they somehow invite it, or how does that happen? Like if I wanted to be an abductee, is there something I would be doing to try to have that happen?
Yeah, don't do that.
Right. Well, I'm not saying I want to. I'm just saying because,
She's like, don't invite it.
well, again, Hollywood. You see, what was it? What was that? Not Fourth of July, Independence Day, where the people, they loved aliens so much, they're on the
Yeah.
rooftops, say, "Oh, take me!" They're having a good time, and they get blown to shit.
Yeah.
So there's really, I mean, yeah. How would somebody go about? Okay, I want to be abducted. I don't want to be abducted. I don't want to be abducted. Leave me alone. How would they go about doing that? I mean,
So first of all, I don't know, and
Okay.
second of all, again, don't do that. And if I did know, I wouldn't tell
wouldn't
you.
tell you. Okay.
But
I figured, I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
I was like, why would I
Totally
tell
makes
you?
sense.
for many of us, especially the people that are experiencing the kind of things that I've experienced, which can be medical experiments.
Right.
We're talking about pain involved. Psychological, emotional. This is something that really impacts your entire life. So I wouldn't recommend to anybody
To go out and look for it.
and look for this. I know that some people are of different perspective and possibly deal with a different, type of aliens or different
Right.
type of phenomena. I have not experienced that, so I can't speak for those people.
Right.
And
Your experience is your
exactly.
own. Yes.
Yeah.
But so I do have a story though about a friend of mine when I was like 15 years old. Kept saying, I want to get abducted. Let me get abducted. I want to get abducted. And I kept telling him, don't ask for that. Like, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, to be honest.
Right.
Like, I wouldn't change what's happened to me because it wouldn't make me it wouldn't be who I was today.
Right.
But at the same time, I don't think your average person fully realizes everything that this encompasses.
Yeah.
And so one night he was staying at my house, and he was really, I want this to happen. I want this to happen. And that night, I woke up in my living room of my house, and we had a sliding glass door. And for whatever reason, I keep living in places with sliding glass doors, and they seem to really like to show up at the sliding glass doors.
Right.
But so I was standing in front of the sliding glass door. Things were a little bit hazy during an active abduction. I'm not talking about the start or the end.
Right.
It's, some people describe it as dreamlike. I've never thought it to be like that. It's
Right.
very different than a dream. It's very real. If you've ever been medically sedated,
Oh, yeah.
that's what I would
Okay.
describe it as. It's like being under sedation. So it's
Okay.
like you're
You're
kind of
kinda
out of
woozy,
it,
but-
and yeah, like
In
stuff
and
is a little
out.
off,
Yeah.
but you're still, you're still there. I remember you might be a little hazy.
Yeah.
All right, well, Jen does have a question. She said, how hard was it for you to live a normal life after that?
Good
Okay.
question.
I'm going to finish this story and then I'll
Okay.
go on and answer your question, Jen. But so standing in front of the sliding glass door, I look out and there's a tall gray standing on, so I have a deck. On the side of the deck, there's a tall gray. Right in front of the door, there's a smaller gray, and there's another gray next to that gray on the deck. They're all the same height because of the way that they were standing. And I realized, like, how you could tell in your peripheral vision somebody standing
Yes.
next to you. So there was somebody on my right a little bit back and somebody on my left. And the person on my left goes, oh my God, what are you going to do? And I just heard them because I was transfixed with this gray alien standing in front of me. I'm 15 years old. This is scary. But, and I said, what do you mean? I'm going to go out there. And they said, why? Aren't you going to run? And I said, there's no point to run. They're going to get me anyways.
Right.
And the person next to me, can I swear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, they
It's
said,
a rated R show.
fuck that, I'm running. And it sounded like they went, and then I went out, and that was the end of that memory. Woke up the next day, my friend was gone. He ended up having some psychological issues
Oh, wow.
after that. And so, again, I would not recommend anybody to bring this on themselves.
Right.
And as far as Jen's question, can you repeat it?
Yeah, absolutely. She asked how hard it was for you to live a normal life after that.
I've always had a hard time fitting in, and very much a double life, especially when I was younger. Up until I started talking about this more openly, this was something that had to be secret because I never knew how people were going to react to me talking about it. So I'd be not getting any sleep at night because anticipating maybe something could happen, or maybe something did happen and I didn't get any sleep because of that reason. So having to go to school and pretending like things were normal, all the time, all the while having this otherworldly experience happening over and over again. So it's been very difficult for me. I've come to terms with it a lot the older I've gotten, and getting involved in the community has really helped me with that. But it hasn't been easy, for sure.
So, I guess going back to the sleep thing. So would you try to stay awake at some points, thinking that, well, they won't come get me if I'm awake?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've had severe insomnia my entire life, and it's largely because I'm afraid to go to sleep before the sun comes up. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I could get that.
Yeah.
Now, I want
for
to
sure.
chime in on this because as I'm talking to you, and I talk to a lot of people on UFOs, cryptids, and whatnot, and they may or may not have had some sort of experience, but everything when they're talking, it's very scripted. It's not passionate. I don't see the emotion in them. I see the emotion in you, like almost to the point of tearing up. So I'm trying to not pull that out of you. We don't want to go there. We want to make this happy and fun as much as we can here. But
it's also serious.
it is very serious. And I told you going into this, even though I'm a jokester and whatnot, we take it very serious. And we really appreciate you coming on here and talking to us about this and our viewers. So again, keep firing in your guys' questions. So do you think, and this kind of goes on with one of the questions earlier, but are they giving you any messages or anything like that? Like I said, we kind of talked about a purpose or whatever, but is there any messages that have been directly to you from these aliens?
A lot of people that have had this phenomenon talk about something called downloads, where they get that's what they would call it.
Okay.
That's the terminology for it. I can't say that I typically do.
Okay.
But I did. So they had specific messages for me when I was a child, and it was very much when I was a child. Bringing me onto the ship was teaching me things, trying to expand my psychic capabilities. Playing with telekinesis, pyrokinesis, just a bunch of different stuff where it was like they were teaching me
Right.
different things. And at that time, and this is a message you'll hear from a lot of experiencers and abductees, is that they're concerned about this planet.
Okay.
And so that is one specific message that I've gotten, and they actually showed me, I don't know if this was just a psychological test, a warning, but they showed me scenes of devastation and
Right.
wars and nuclear bombs being dropped. And so that is something that they have given us the message.
Okay.
Experiencers, abductees, is that we need to change our ways as human beings and do something to save this planet.
And that's what my fascination with the whole UFO aliens thing, that was always my hope, that's what they were doing. This is a planet that they are protecting. They've been here probably forever,
I agree.
much longer than us. There's just too many things that we see in our history,
Yep.
ancient history, that has them involved. So that was always my hope, and that's why I asked you that question, a message, and my hope was that they're trying to save this shit that we're trying to blow up.
Yeah.
So hopefully you're all successful at that. It's unfortunate that so many of the abductees
We
you know,
don't have good experience.
yeah, I mean, the pain that they talk about that they went through the experiments, you know. Now, with that being said, you talked about your experience with the Greys. Now, it's been just pushed in our heads through the government, whatever, that these are the Greys. I mean, that vision, that look is what they're implanting in us. That's what we all think of. Is that accurate? Our little friend down there.
That guy, not so much.
Okay.
You know, it's funny because when you see like the South Park
Yes.
gray aliens,
Yes.
like that is a little bit more like.
So they're slenderer and they're kind of more.
big head, black
Yeah.
eyes. So I don't know if this one doesn't have black.
His
eyes.
are green.
Yeah, not this has more of a prominent nose. There's
Okay.
no ears really. The head's bigger.
Okay.
I would say that the chest is very different. You know,
Okay.
it's much less muscle mass.
Okay.
I guess I would say.
Now we got that guy up there, way above you, up in
Way
the
up
rafter.
there.
Oh, I see. That's a little bit more like it.
That's
yeah.
a little bit more like
A little
him.
bit more.
Okay.
But that's still a little bit too human.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
they're, because I'm almost wondering if are they programming us to get used to that image?
Yeah.
So if they ever do on a mass level intercede, you know, okay, you guys aren't doing this right. We're coming down.
Oh,
We're
I think it's
fixing this
programming
shit.
for sure.
Okay,
Like I do
that's-
believe that they've been programming us. I had this reoccurring feeling. Don't know if it came from them or if I felt like around the turn of the century in like
Okay.
1999
Okay.
that something was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
That we were supposed to have contact because I feel like the late 90s they really bombarded us with this
Oh
stuff.
yeah. Yeah.
And
big time.
and then it just didn't happen.
Right.
And so, you know, ever since then, I'm like, when's it going to happen? And now we
Right.
have this like drip disclosure going on.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not exactly sure what's going on with it, but I forget. There's a really good movie that came out recently. I think it was maybe Nobody Can Hear You Scream. I can't remember the name of it. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if anybody in the chat knows what movie I'm talking about.
They
Okay.
might.
But yeah, but the aliens in that were so spot on,
Really?
much more so than others. I would say Close Encounters
Yeah.
was very
Yeah,
spot
pretty-
on.
pretty
Yeah.
spot on.
Yep. Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, we're sidetracking a little. Michelle Erskine wants to know what trauma movie you were in.
Oh, I was in Tales from the Crapper, which is the worst trauma movie, which is saying something. It might be the worst movie ever made
Okay.
for like 3 or 4 seconds. But it
What-
was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
I mean,
But we've seen worse.
Oh,
you know,
I don't
Bride
know.
of Frank. Bride of Frank
Yeah.
is the worst movie.
Have you seen Tales from the Crapper?
No.
It's probably worse.
Okay, we'll have to watch that.
We are, yep, we're
yeah,
gonna
to
have
put
to
it
watch
to
I
it now.
compare it to Bride of
I
Frank.
love B horror movies, and that is almost unwatchable. So you know.
Okay,
that's
that sounds like it's
Although,
right up.
My R.I.P. to the late great Julie Strain, but she was in that movie
Oh, was
from
she?
Heavy Metal
Oh, I
Magazine,
loved
and
her.
yeah, yep.
She was back in the 90s. We started out, Screencraft Studio started out. Well, I didn't start out as a magazine. We were screenwriting, wrote screenplays. But we did a magazine in the 90s, Screencraft Magazine, and she was in it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was an
Her,
honor.
Linnea Quigley, Brink Stevens.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was great. I got to spend a whole
Yeah.
weekend with her. She cooked for me. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a sad story that was,
I know.
though. Man,
I know.
just you did. Wow. Any other questions from the Cracker Barrel in there?
Well, I'm caught up. I try to interject when I can, because if I don't and then I get too many, then we're in trouble.
Okay, well, we're going to sidetrack a little bit away from this, give you a little bit of time to breathe and chill, because I know that could be probably. Is it stressful talking about it?
To be honest, for whatever reason, I don't like public speaking, but this topic, I'm pretty good with it. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, we're going to do a little show and tell.
Ooh.
So over the weekend, we got it over the weekend. No, we got it earlier this
Can
week.
you make complete sentences tonight?
No, I can't.
Please?
A while back ago, how's that? A while
Okay.
back ago, we approached our friends over at Tiny Terrors. They make little dolls of everybody's favorite slashers, okay? And they're adorable. Jason, Michael Myers, Pinhead, Chucky, Sam from Trick or Treat. She came up with the idea. She goes, "Could you guys make dolls of us?"
Oh yeah.
And she did.
That's awesome.
And they are incredible. So that's
Oh,
the
that's
little
so
Baron.
cool.
Isn't that cute?
That is very cute. That is so cool.
There's,
And my hat.
there's
is
the
so
little
cool.
Baron. from our friends at Tiny Tears.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That is just the coolest thing.
Cindy, you're so cute as a doll.
Okay.
Almost as cute as in real life. No, way cuter in real life.
I'll put that guy right there.
Okay.
Put Miss Sindee.
Don't touch my butt. You know,
So-
people have an issue with that, and I don't even have one. So I feel like they're aiming purposely.
I think you'll stand up there. Hopefully you don't fall over. So yeah, those were done, and she did them really quick. Tiny Tears. They're at pretty much every major convention that would be at least in Michigan. I'm pretty sure they go down into Ohio and stuff like that. Super nice people. They dropped them off they went up north over the weekend. They dropped them off here on Monday. And she was really quick too. I figured, oh, it'll be months, whatever. It was just literally a couple weeks.
Well, yeah, because we talked
To
her
them
at
halfway to Halloween, which was a
the
couple weeks ago.
May 10th.
Yeah, May 10th.
Wow.
Yep. So,
Very talented.
Yeah.
That's
but I
incredible.
originally got a hold of her because I'm a big. Have you seen the movie Terrifier?
Yeah.
Any of them? Okay,
Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
Terrifier.
me too.
I love Art the Clown, but in the second one, when they introduced the pale little girl,
Yes.
there goes my hat. Okay, let me get my hat.
Bald.
There goes my card. So I love the pale little girl. Okay. So I asked them if they could do a doll, a custom doll of the pale little girl. Now I didn't bring it. It's in my curio cabinet. So I've got the only pale little girl doll that they've done. Hopefully she does them.
So somebody else can get
So
them.
yeah, so you know.
Michelle, they all need to get their own. They can talk to Tiny Terrors about making them.
Yes.
Okay, moving on.
Okay,
So
moving
she can
on.
finish talking.
You guys know that we are big bat conservation promoters, or whatever you want to call it. We did a thing, and I did a thing without telling her first. I always do that.
No.
We adopted a bat.
And I'm gonna, you know what? When you say we, I'm gonna say more than we, because people that donate
Oh,
have a piece in this.
yes, absolutely.
So it does. We is not just you and I.
Yes, but we did specifically adopt a specific bat.
Yes.
That other people could adopt too. We're not taking care of the bat.
No.
Bats are not pets, folks. They're cute, they're cuddly, they're beautiful animals, but let the professionals that know how to properly take care of them take care of them. So we adopted this bat, so the money we give to them takes care of this particular bat. It is a Malaysian golden fruit bat. So they sent us this package, so go ahead and start digging and see what they sent us on. We got a plushy bat.
A cute little bat.
Oh, cute little bat. You see the bat?
That's fantastic.
Isn't that cute?
Yeah, I love bats. I think
Oh,
that's so
they're so
wonderful
sweet.
that you guys are part of bat conservation. It's needed very, very
Oh,
badly
very
right
much
now.
so.
They're
Well,
in
and
rough shape.
You know, I'll be honest.
Species.
When we first started our shop, everybody wanted taxidermy bats.
Yeah.
So everything we do with taxidermy and stuff like that, and critters and whatnot, we make sure they're, responsibly resourced.
Ethically.
And ethically, responsibly resourced. So that's what I went with. But the more we started looking into it, more we started really studying it, anybody could say that. Yeah, we
Yeah.
ethically get them sourced.
Yeah.
You can't ethically source bats. You cannot get enough of them to satisfy the market for it. So we decided any bat we had in the shop were pulled out. We weren't going to sell them anymore, and we don't. And then that's when we really started getting heavy into collecting donations at our events for bat rescue. This one was actually where we adopted this bat, and we did a fundraiser for them that we sent them the funds on already. Luby Bat Conservatory and Rescue down in Gainesville, Florida.
Yes.
All right, so what else?
So this, because you were talking,
Okay.
long-winded,
That's what I do.
is a bio on our baby, and I'm not gonna read
No.
any of it, but it gives us a bio that we can look at.
And her
later.
name is?
Sunshine.
Sunshine.
How perfect.
There's Sunshine.
That's just, I think, a letter stating.
Oh,
Oh no, this
That face.
is sunshine.
That
This-
face.
okay, yeah, here
cute
is,
bat.
we got a photo of,
Sunshine. How cute.
so that is Sunshine.
Oh, they see glare.
Oh, right there. Malaysian golden fruit bat, and there's a certificate of the adoption on the back. And you guys can do this too. You can go to their website, Lubee, L-U-B-E-E, Bat
Conservancy.
Conservancy and Rescue. So there's Sunshine.
She's
And you can
gorgeous.
pick whatever bat you want to adopt. They've got several of them on there, and whatever level of sponsorship you want to do, they've got them all there, and you can sponsor a bat.
Or you
oh, I
can
do that for
donate
you.
and we can help Sunshine.
Yes, because we do keep in front of our shop over here, we got a bat box with a sign where people can donate. And then we'll pick different bat rescues for the money to go to. Like right now, we're working with the Pennsylvania Bat Rescue. When we're at
Steampunk.
Steampunk on the Bricks this past weekend, that's what we're collecting money for. We didn't collect as much as I was hoping. It was still a good amount, but we want to really be able to make an impact. So we're going to include them in our June 7th event here. So any money we raise for bat rescue will go again to Pennsylvania Bat Conservatory, or Conservation and Rescue. And then Lubee is the Conservancy. So they're very specific with their names, I've noticed. So yeah, was that all our show and tell? All our mail? Okay. All right. How are we doing on time?
You got
7:40?
20
Oh,
minutes.
we got lots of time. So what else would you want to, if somebody was coming up to you and without giving them this long biographical thing on abduction, and you wanted it to make sense to them, what are the key points that you would tell somebody about maybe what happened to you or what it's about?
I mean, I feel like it's always a long story. It's hard to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Into a quick.
Well,
little
we got
package.
20 minutes, so
Yeah,
it's
you
not
got
like it
plenty
has to
of
be
time.
a couple
But,
minute thing.
You know, so I would just say that this is something that I feel like, you know, people need to realize that this is happening.
Mm-hmm.
There's far too many of us with far too many witnesses.
Right.
For it just to be your one-off crazy person,
Yes.
you know, here or there. I think that these beings, like you said earlier, have always been here.
Mm-hmm.
It's my opinion that they might have had a hand in creating us.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer of
Yeah,
that.
sometimes I definitely think that they've like evolved us
Yes.
throughout history, you know, with different technology. I don't know if they necessarily built the pyramids, but I
Right.
think that the idea for that, you know, came from them. I mean, they could have.
think so.
I don't know. You know, I wasn't there, but
Yep.
you know, I think this is something that they've always been here. They're a part of this world,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like they'll always be a part of it. You know, as far as abduction, it's you know, it's really a complicated issue, but you know, this is for those of us that have been having it to us happen to us our entire lives. You know, it is something that we continually deal with throughout our lives. There might be ebbs and flows about how often it happens.
Right.
For me personally, it's pretty frequent. There's never been a time where it's been longer than 3 months for me to have something happen.
Really?
It can be as often as 3 to 4 times a week.
Holy
So
cow.
this is something that I deal with.
So
a
it's still
lot.
going on
Yeah.
to this day. That was going to be another question. Is this still going on with
Yeah.
you? Holy smokes.
A lot of people, once they get to a certain age, you know, people say maybe it's because, I mean, there's so much to unpack, but because there's a hybrid program.
Okay.
So part of what they've done with abductees like myself, and especially female abductees, is that I'm not exactly sure if they're trying to breed, you know, a race that could fit in with humans, or just experimenting with us to see what would happen. A lot of people, these are all theories, and I
Right.
don't have any answers to any of this stuff. You know, I've experienced what I've experienced, but I I don't have any answers, and I frequently say beware of those that say they have answers.
Right.
Because I don't feel like there
Probably
are
they don't,
many.
yeah.
The more answers you get, the more questions you have. So this is a lifelong
Yeah.
learning experience. But so they take human women and they mix DNA with them, and then they have hybrid offspring.
Okay.
And I am one of those people that that has happened to. So
Oh my God.
yeah.
And
So what they do is they basically take, like, sorry, like an egg from you and basically like a lab type
Yeah.
of
and
growth.
create
type thing.
the offspring
Yep.
up there and
Yep.
then introduce them down here.
Ah.
Now, and
Yeah, I don't know if that happens. But,
right, yeah. I mean, we
yeah.
don't know, but we've also probably, and I know you probably have too. We've all heard the stories, especially with celebrities and government officials about the whole reptilian thing. You know, showing close-ups of these like certain politicians or celebrities, and they'll show their eyes and they'll blink sideways like that, and they're like claiming that these influential people are actually aliens of the reptilian.
Yeah.
You know, so my question is, and maybe again you know or you don't know, but just give us your take on the different other types of reptilians that could be out there besides the grays that we're all familiar with.
Again, that's the only thing I've experienced, so I don't have any knowledge of that. I have to
Okay.
say I'm highly skeptical that all of our leaders are reptilians.
Right.
And I think a lot of those videos where people say that they are digital artifacts.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, it's funny, but with how much has happened to me, I am I wouldn't say skeptical, but I'm definitely cautious when it
Yeah.
comes to things. And just to keep my own sanity, I need to rule out all of the common things that it could be.
Yeah.
You know, the natural things that it could be before I say, oh, nope, this happened, or this is what it is.
Yeah.
So I really delve into stuff like that and look into it pretty deeply and then come
Right.
up with my own opinion
Your
of
own
it.
opinion. Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, there's lots of people that have said that they've had experiences with reptilians.
Yep.
I'm not one of them. So
And then what was the other big one is the
Michelle says maybe that's why we seem to have doppelgangers.
Yeah.
right?
You
mean,
never know.
it's funny.
Possible,
Like,
yeah.
I think I saw mine one time, but I don't know. In Boulder, Colorado, it was pretty creepy.
Yeah.
I don't know, your people tell me that all
Yeah,
the time.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think everybody
Yeah.
has at some point. I had just recently, within a week, I had like 2 or 3 people that literally thought they saw me and they were approaching this person and Jean was one of them. She came up and was approaching this guy, thought it was me.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, everything from the clothes that the dude was wearing, you know, the beard, the hair, everything. And I've had that, and I'm sure, again, you guys have as well. But the other group of aliens that seem to be popular, and again, I don't know, like you, how much credibility they have with it, but I don't know the exact name, but they're more of the Scandinavian,
The Nordics.
the Nordics,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
I mean, I think those could be screen memories. Like I said, sometimes they'll present themselves
Yeah.
because those are very human, very beautiful.
Yes, yes.
You know, so I wonder about that. Again, maybe people are having experiences with other beings that do look like,
right.
you know, really gorgeous blonde white people, but
Yeah.
I don't know. You know,
Well, that one always caught my attention because I am Scandinavian. I've got a whole lot of Swede in me.
yeah, same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can tell.
Yeah. Well, that's not natural, but
Oh,
yeah.
it isn't. It looks very natural.
Thank you.
That's a good thing, right?
I mean, mine used to be like that, and it was natural. But now it's like I got so many colors in my hair, it's ridiculous. I got red, I got black, I got brown, I got a little bit of my natural blonde, maybe left.
I think he's mainly gray now.
Yeah,
Don't let him fool you.
yeah. Even my dreads are turning gray, and they're not even physically attached to me, and they're turning gray. That's how old I am.
Right. So before we finish up, is there like anything that you would like our viewers to know in regards to your experiences that you think would be beneficial to them?
I just, you know, if you're interested in this sort of thing, you know, I do recommend looking into accounts of experiencers and abductees like me. I mean, like, they're here, I feel like this is something that people need to grapple with and comes to terms with. And maybe at some point, when we as a society, are at a point where we don't just look at this as nonsense, that maybe that could be when they do come and interact
Yeah.
with us. Maybe that'll be the sea change.
Yeah.
I have heard people say that they think they're waiting to see if AI or us will win, and then that's who they're going to talk to. But I don't know about that.
I mean, that makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense to me. They don't feel we're ready
Yeah.
for them yet.
Yeah.
On a big picture,
Yeah.
because you always hear the lunatics. Oh, if I ever see an alien, if I ever see Bigfoot, I'm shooting them. It's like, what the hell is that?
The whole panic with the drones.
The
Yeah,
drones
yeah.
recently last summer.
That shows just people are
People
not
panic.
Yeah.
ready.
Oh.
Well, sometimes I wonder if we're being quarantined on this planet because we're such a violent
Yeah.
race, and that they just don't want us out in space.
Oh,
Because look at what we do to
absolutely.
each other and how we treat each other.
Yeah.
And that is one thing that I want people to take away from all of this, is that I think we should all be treating each other better.
Oh my God, yes.
And having more of an open mind about other people's experiences.
Yeah.
I definitely think that's something that should be taken away from this, is that we could just do everything we can in our daily lives to be better to each other,
Yeah,
to,
and
to
if you-
protect the world. And
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't like what somebody's doing, then
Walk away.
walk away.
Exactly.
Walk away. Go do your
exactly,
thing.
Exactly.
You
Yeah,
know.
I don't understand why we can't do that.
Yeah,
I just don't
me
understand
neither.
it. But,
Yeah.
here we are. Here we are. I wanted to talk a little bit about, as we're closing up here, just to make sure we don't forget, we've got some really cool sponsors that are part of our show here that I just wanted to give some shout outs to. And one particular, because she had to work her butt off today, because I ran out of the gift bags. Not the bags themselves, but because I told you she hand draws on them, the Baron and City
Very,
Night
very
show.
cool.
So Heather from
excited.
Formaldehyde, right next door to us.
No, she's up there.
Oh, well, yeah, her little icon.
Right?
is- right? You're not seeing what we're doing here. It makes sense, though, to the viewers.
Hey, no, you're pointing
Oh.
the complete wrong.
Right
there you
Oh,
go.
right there. Yep. It's her little logo on her
Yeah, I
screen.
got a logo
Nice.
out there.
But yeah, Formaldehyde, she's a great artist, a great talent. She comes to work every day, okay, like normal people.
Most days.
Yeah, most days. Sometimes she just kind of doesn't come to work, Heather. But she does her face completely, I don't know, what do you call it? Just, I don't want to say whacked out because that sounds like something crazy, but just beautifully spooky or gothic-y or clowny, whatever she's trying to do, but it's just so beautifully done.
Sounds like my kind of girl.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
she's
Yeah.
she's
Yeah,
awesome.
she does my nails, but like
Yeah.
I said, I took them off.
And with a name like Formaldehyde.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, she goes by, her name is Heather. She goes by Heath, and her persona is Creature.
Nice.
So
So Creature envelops a lot of the different things that she likes to do. But
she's
yeah.
a haunt actor out at Awaken Haunted Attraction. But yeah, she's making us some Baron and City Night candles. But yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to her on doing
She's
the bags
also
for us.
making our trophies for
Oh, yeah.
our haunting in Rio Town.
Yeah, you should probably talk about that. I'll talk about it.
Thank you.
So June 7th coming up. You should come
Yeah,
up
yeah.
and check this out. June
Over.
7th, we have our 4th annual.
Sure.
We'll call it the 4th annual. Could be the 5th annual. I'm going to say it's the 4th annual just because I don't remember. I'm old. Remember I said that. June 7th, haunting in Rio Town Marketplace. We're going to have 4 different paranormal investigation teams, really good ones. They'll all be lined up through here with their tables, showing their evidence, talking to people. We'll have a reptile rescue here. We are going to have Nicole Beauchamp, paranormal author. She will be
She's
here.
also with one of the paranormal teams.
Yes, Tri-City. Don't smack me if I get this wrong, but
Ghost
it's Tri-City Ghost Hunters Society.
Something like that.
I know I abused it. Sorry, Nicole. But they'll be here. We've got Q106, the radio station, will be here, broadcasting live. Our show will be in and out, broadcasting live. We have multiple haunt actors and cosplayers and entertainers from St. John's, Michigan, Jason, who was on here. Canny, which is Creatures, one of her other characters. We've got Sicken and Scurvy. We've got, who else was coming? Sewer, possibly. We've got our hearse will be here, and Dark Knight, our hearse.
Well,
It's beautiful.
I'm gonna backtrack with you because you said one of our paranormal teams that was gonna be here, so we do still have Afterlife Road Productions that will be here.
Well, I
and-
said there was 4. I just
Well,
specifically.
yeah, but you said it, so we're gonna say who the other 2 ones are as well.
Well, then 3 then. You're going to do all of them. All right, so you got Ghost Contact Paranormal.
Thank you.
You've got Afterlife Road Productions, PIRT, which is our official investigation team for our museum. Is that all of them?
And then
And
Nicole's.
Tri-Cities.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so we got all of them on there. So we'll have.
We will have a costume contest.
Yes, there you go. A very good one, because it's going to be just not one overall prize. It'll be multiple categories for multiple different types of costuming and age group type thing. What else is going on at that event? There's something. Oh, I'll be doing a paranormal presentation like I did at Mid-Michigan Paracon. What else?
I don't know, there's a lot. I don't know if Jezebel Michelle will be setting up. I don't know. These are things that we haven't been like set in stone yet, but
So there won't be vendors. It's not a vendor
No.
event.
but we may have a couple of our board members that we allow to set up.
Yeah. Oh, and we got the skateboard painters. They do these really cool custom skateboards. Dead Inside is what they're called. They'll be here set up. So June 7th, highly recommend you guys come down. And then after, that goes from 11 to 6. After 6, the doors close, the building empties out. We're doing a paranormal investigation where 16 ticket holders that have purchased these tickets will be able to work with each of those 4 ghost hunting teams inside of here.
And we have only 5 tickets left.
Yep, so if you guys want to be involved in it, you got 5 tickets left. So quit dilly-dallying around. Don't wait till the last minute, because you know what happens when you do that? You're out of luck.
You are.
I think that's it, as far as that goes. We want to thank our Patreons, which I wrote them down there. You want to read them off?
Nope.
Sicken and Scurvy, Samantha Bohm, Rob Dowell, Michelle Erskine, Just Prudy, and Jackal. Have they been on here?
They have not.
Wow.
Not this evening.
Just Prudy and Jackal are always on every show. Something must be up.
Right.
I think
What's
they're
up with that?
They're down in Kentucky.
I'm not down asking.
I think they're down in Kentucky. Our other sponsors, Neurotastic Creations. Still waiting for them stickers, Dustin.
Haywire. He has.
Oh,
donated
Haywire.
stuff to our
Yes,
gift
Haywire.
bags.
The Automaton Bloke. He writes original music, and he's very unique, very steampunk-ish type of thing he's got going on there. He's performed here at our events, and we just saw him down at Steampunk on the Bricks in Jackson. So he'll have some little trinkets in there, as well as some of our stickers. And
I'm super excited.
Yeah, there's all sorts of
Go
little.
ahead, dig.
There's all
Go
sorts of
ahead,
little
dig
things
while
in
we
there.
got a few minutes.
Yeah, we got a few minutes.
Very cool. Yeah, June 7th sounds like it's going to be a blast. Whoever can make it should certainly be here.
Yeah, it's it's
Sometimes.
not so huge that it's overwhelming like some of the big cons you go to where you just can't move around. This is a good sized building, but it's not going to be like so overrun where you're shoulder to shoulder and just overwhelming.
Yeah, we may have a food truck. I forgot about that too.
Oh yeah. Oh, I was going to have you get a hold of our cheese sandwich people.
Yeah, I'll try.
Yeah, trying to get a food truck here.
Did anybody else have any questions
Yeah,
before the
we-
end of the show?
Yeah. Any quick question, guys? We got 2 minutes.
A 2-minute question?
2-minute question.
Oh, we don't have to end right now.
No, we don't.
We fly by the seat of our pants.
Well, I think you gave a lot of insight, a lot of education, answered a lot of questions that I know I had and wondered about. So,
I feel like I barely scratched the surface.
oh, I'm
so-
sure. I'm sure. I mean, this is a much bigger conversation than
Might
an
have
hour.
to have you back.
Oh, I would
Yeah.
love to. I would
Yeah.
love to. This is fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I was going to start a series on just UFO encrypted stuff. I did 2 shows, and then we just get so busy. I really shouldn't really tackle more things. I just, and I never ate my gummies, so you were spared that obnoxiousness. They hate that. They just despise that.
And Frederick Fiendwright said it'll be a blast if he makes it
To what? Oh, June
to
7th?
June 7th. He's our Dragon Tears creator that does the clay work in our shop.
Nice.
Very cool stuff. He sculpts it, bakes it,
Oh my god! And
paints them.
this is the stuff I have to deal with.
Oh boy.
So, Fiendwright goes, I missed everything. My question is, can you repeat the whole stream right now for me?
And that is our son, by the way. No, that's what the replay is for.
That's right. Watch it.
Watch the replay and you'll be educated at it. So that's all I got, folks. That's all we got. We really appreciate y'all coming out and hanging out with us.
Well, Michelle said it was very enlightening.
Good. That's what you kind of strive for, probably.
That's
Just
right.
enlighten
That's
people,
right.
open people, just like our museum, the Paranormal Museum, just open up a little bit to the possibilities of what's out there. You'd be very surprised what you might find.
That's right. And I want to say thank you so much for having me here
Oh,
today.
absolutely.
It's an honor to be here. I've
a
been
lot of
very
fun.
much looking forward to this, and the museum doesn't disappoint. So
Yeah,
everyone needs to come and check it out. for
absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
So, what do you
Well,
got?
we appreciate you being here as well.
Thank you.
Anybody that takes the time to deal with this one, you're all good in my book.
I was pretty tame today. I was
Yeah,
pretty tame.
you were actually.
Oh, Purse Fest, September
This is why we never get off.
Yeah.
September something. I don't have my glasses on, but Hearst Fest in Fowlerville. Come out and see Dark Knight and
13.
all the other 100 hearses and vendors and entertainment out at Hearst Fest.
Why are there so many hearses in Michigan, by the way? I've noticed that there's people with huge collections of hearses.
Yeah, we're just weird people.
Closer
I
to you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
down.
don't know very many around
Oh,
here.
okay.
Yeah, down in your neck of the woods, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend Todd has that monster.
Yeah,
truck.
he's got the monster truck one, and he's got a few
Yeah.
other ones.
Yeah.
He's always trying to sell me these things.
Yeah, I bet.
You know, he's like, well, I could have sold you the
Constant salesman.
monster truck hearse. I was like, holy shit, trying to get her in that thing? No way.
I have a hard enough time with the door in ours.
Oh,
Right?
yes.
Oh no, yeah.
They're big,
Yeah,
huge,
you need
heavy
like a
doors.
ladder
Yeah.
for that one.
Yeah.
I need a hook.
That's right.
Well, and
that's
that
right.
we travel with it to the shows. Could you imagine the gas mileage on
No
that thing?
kidding.
Oh
No
my
kidding.
God! It's like no way. You're stuck with it, Todd. Sorry. It's cool, but you're stuck with it. All right, roll us out of here,
Yeah,
Cindy.
you keep saying it.
I'm gonna-
All right, folks. Thank you so much. As always, we love you all for supporting and being here with us every other week. Do we have one? Like a guest on the next one?
I don't. Yeah, we do. Don't ask me who it is.
Okay, well, just look at our
I don't.
list.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know right offhand.
Okay.
But we do have a guest.
We do have a guest. All right. As always, everybody, keep it real.